Watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high. What's going on, guys? So this has been a fun week. If you're paying attention, this is the week the Wall Street bets took over Reddit pretty much and tried to short squeeze a hedge fund out of a short position. What does this mean? This means that Gamestop, which is a failing video game retailer, basically they were around like right when Blockbusters was around, but somehow they've held on and they haven't like redone their business model. Nonetheless, a bunch of hedge funds got together, mainly one, Melvin Capital. They got together and they were like, let's buy up 120, 140% of the shares of this stock, short them, which means we'll sell the shares of these stock right now, take the cash. We owe the other people this, their shares back, right? So basically what they do is they borrow the shares from a brokerage. They sell the shares. In theory, the shares go down. They buy them back at a lower price and keep the difference. A bunch of people on Reddit got together and said, nope, we're going to bid up the stock. And they bid that thing all the way up to like $400. So that way they would have to rebuy the stock at like $400 something to then cover their short positions, causing Melvin Capital to lose 53% of their entire hedge fund in the last week alone, which is interesting. I mention this because the U.S. is already in a civil war. You have to be living under a rock to not understand that the civil war has begun. The debate is, did it begin on January 20th of 2016 when Donald Trump made his speech to the swamp and said he was going to drain the swamp? Or did it begin at the Capitol riot on January 6th, 2021? And historians will look back on this time and debate when it happened. I would argue that it started in 16 because we had Russiagate and we had like this big, but it was really them versus Trump. It was a swamp versus Trump. By the way, full disclosure, Trump was the most socialist president we had to date, just so you guys know. A lot of you guys are like Trumpers out there. Like, do you realize that Trump only vetoed 9 bills? You know, the last guy that vetoed 9 bills, you'd have to go back to 1910. And that president wasn't around for a full term there. So you'd have to go back to the 1800s to actually find somebody who only vetoed 9 bills. Trump was just like, you guys gonna spend money? Here you go, here you go, here you go. Trump was a joke, in my opinion, because if you want to drain the swamp, stop funding them, cut their funding, let them go. But nonetheless, they gained up against him because he was anti-establishment and he represented the people. So a lot of people are like, oh, that represents me. When they push against Trump, they're pushing against me. Well, yeah, obviously, they hate you. The sooner that you realize that the governments of the world hate the people, then you'll have a much clearer picture of what actually is going on. So we're in a civil war. Why do I say this? Well, now you have this Patriot Act 2. It's for domestic terrorism. To count, there's over 1 million domestic terrorists that they want to lock up at this point in time, which is ridiculous. It's insane. There's also this divide in our country between the right and the left. This is designed by the political establishment, by the political elite, to get people to fight over things. The right and the left are not really that different. Historically, the right was financially conservative, but they were also socially conservative. So like, we're not okay with the gay marriage thing, but we'd like to be on a balanced budget. And the left is like, we love gay marriage, we love spending money, we love all of that. I'm a libertarian, which is like this. I want people to be free, and I want there to be financial constraints. I want the government to have to be constrained financially in what they spend. That means if they don't tax it, they can't spend it. And people, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting me. You want to marry 5, 10, 6 dudes, whatever? Great for you, bro. Whatever. You can do whatever the heck you want. We can debate whether you can go into a girl's bathroom or not, whatever. But the left will continually take on these crazier and crazier causes, like the trans cause or any of these things that you've seen in the last few years, to increase their base. Because the progressive agenda makes a lot of sense. It's progressive. It's futuristic. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. It just completely negates and completely disallows for human action. Like, what will monkeys on a rock with constrained resources actually do when things hit the fan? And the left is like, has this lollipops, like, oh, we'll helicopter money out. We'll just the rainbows and gumdrops. But the reality of it is the left always has to expand their base. So they take these crazy things like trans kids and things like that, which I didn't even know you get a tattoo if you were under like the age of 18, but apparently if you want to chop your dick off, no big deal if you're like 12, whatever. I think you should wait it out. Maybe, wait until you're 25 or so, make sure you really want to do that. But nonetheless, the left will take on these crazier issues. They'll take on these like immigration issues. They'll take on, this whole thing. And so they expand their base. The problem with the left when it comes to fruition is the left, who they go after the gays and the transsexuals and the, super liberals and all that type of stuff. Great. But when you bring in the Muslims, guess what? Muslims hate gays. They hate gays. They fucking hate gays. Like, they want to kill gays. Just so you guys know. So the libertarian approach is kind of really starting to blossom at this point in time, where it's like, I want to see free people and I want to see free markets, which means don't stop trading of a bunch of regular retail investors on Robinhood because your financial interests got short squeezed. So what happened here on Robinhood was a bunch of guys got in there through the Wall Street Bets group. Full disclosure, I'm in the group. Been in the group. And they go in there and they're like, we're going to buy up AMC theaters. We're going to buy up GameStop. We're just going to buy it up. And you go through the comments, and these comments aren't like, I'm doing this to make money. These comments are like, I'm donating money to the cause to fuck these hedge funds over. To which I'm like, let's do it. But what I mean by a civil war is we're in it. Like, the Civil War has already started. It hasn't gone full kinetic yet. We're not at like full kinetic, and it may never go full kinetic, but we've already created the divide in the country. We've already taken Parler offline, completely offline. We've already silenced on private companies. So I'm almost okay with this. Where like, the president of the United States got his social media canceled, right? So did millions of other individuals. Now, where do they go to gather online? Like, do they still have a First Amendment? It's a private business and these private servers. So they go to Parler, which is like, okay, we'll have Parler. Parler, Amazon goes, nope. Apple Store goes, nope. Parler's out. So what's the solution? The solution is decentralized everything. Decentralized everything is coming. And this is going to be a major problem for those in control. Remember, it's always going to be the people versus the powerful. This war is about the people versus the powerful. The people will ultimately win. What winning looks like, you're not going to like. Because the end game of this event, which will probably take a decade to conclude, it could conclude sooner than that. A great book is called The Fourth Turning. I'll link below. But The Fourth Turning is an excellent book on why these events occur in American history, particularly American history, every 81 years. And if you were to go back in time and you start in the 1500s, you'd be in the Protestant Revolution, which is like when the Protestants were like, screw the Catholic Church. They were like, fuck you guys, we're out. We believe that you can go direct to God. And the priests are like, no, you can't go direct to God. You need us. You need us. And the state was like, hey, we're really done with these priests, because the priests had a lot more power than the state. A lot more power than the state. You don't like them? Kill them. Burn them at the stake. I'm sensing a little witchcraft going on over there. Burn that fucker to the ground. Right? So the state was like, yo, bro, we need some protection from the church, because the church is a little crazy. So eventually in 1700s, you had this Revolutionary War. So you go like 81 years into the future, at the end of 1590s, 1560s, the Martin Luther Revolution, and people start migrating over to North America and other things are happening. But really in America, we see the first events occurring in 1776, when the Americans go, really 1770s, when the Americans go, so we have this British king who's taxing our tea, and we can't have them taxing our tea. Like, you can't be taxing our tea, bro. Like, they're taxing it at 6%. 6% was outrageous. They were like, you're taxing us 6% and you don't even live here. We're done with the tea. So a bunch of patriots, which is kind of an illegal word right now, but a bunch of patriots get together. They dress up as Indians. I know that's politically incorrect. So they dress up as Native Americans, but they call them Indians. And they basically throw the tea off the boat, and it's the Boston Tea Party, right? And then eventually you get down to Concord, and there's like this shot that's heard around the world, and it kicks it off. And that is a battle of the largest military superpower the world had ever seen up to that point versus a bunch of ragtag farmers with muskets that they were like reloading, boom, reloading, boom. And the army, the British army, they lined up and they did their little marching order and their little red suits and all that crap. And meanwhile, the Americans were like, yeah, let's be smart about this. Guerrilla warfare. You hide in that tree. You hide in that tree. You get behind that bunker. When we run out of pellets or muskets or whatever, we'll just get in there with bayonets and just go to work with a knife, just go to work. And they won the freaking war. It took some nasty things that you don't learn in history class, like George Washington, who is maybe not the most moral person in the world, but he got the job done. It was like, they're having a Christmas party and we're losing the war and we're going to show up at their Christmas party and we're going to kill everybody. Doesn't matter who it is. Women, children, men, don't matter. We're going to kill everybody in the house. Word got back to the king, and the king was like, we're done messing with these Americans. And that was the first fourth turning. It's really well documented in American history. If you go forward 81 years in history, you get to the Civil War. So now they got their own country, and now they're beefing because really the South is running like this very European thing going on. They got a lot of imported wines and cheeses. And like, if you're a white dude in the South, life's pretty good. You got a big plantation and you got these slaves, and like life's just kind of going on. And then the North, well, the North wants to become like this industrial empire, right? They want to be on the world stage. They want to be like up there with Britain and all that type of stuff. There was this little war of 1812 where the British tried to come back for a minute, try to retake it. It didn't work. But nonetheless, you get to the Civil War event where it's not a civil war. It's a failed secession. All right. So the first secession is the South is like, yo, we want to secede because we don't want to be part of your taxes and your bullshit up there in Washington. Like, we're just going to do our own thing. We're going to become the Confederate States of America. We're just going to do our own thing. And the North, being the industrial base, was like, no, we need your cotton. We need that. We need some of the farm goods because we don't have those farms. You guys have the farms. We want to be the same country, so we have some control there. And so what happened is the South kicked off in the first battle, whooped butt, and if they had went all the way to Maine, they'd have won. Instead, they did like the Capitol riot, yay, we won, and they go back home, and they're like, and then, the Abraham Lincoln gets his troops ready to ride, and they whip ass. And the South pretty much has to secede the war, and it took until, they say, the 1970s for the South to recover economically from that event. In 1940, next fourth turning, 81 years later, you get this World War II event, which is really just a carry-on from World War I because America wanted to go stick their thumb in everybody's business, and then we like screwed the Germans, and the Germans like they hyperinflated their currency and the whole freaking thing. And so, you have this rise of Hitler. Hitler starts whooping butt, and then we have this depression, and our government starts growing and growing because it was the end of a debt cycle. So from Civil War to 1920s, 1930s, it was getting to that 50 to 90 year debt cycle, that super cycle, if you will, where typically debt cycles go 7, 10, 15, 20, 30-year cycles. But on a larger cycle, you always find this 90-year debt cycle. This is where we are right now. And they came around to all these Americans' houses, and they literally stole their gold and gave them $20 bills. And they're like, here you go, just use it. It's as good as gold. You can't own gold in America anymore. It's illegal. And the citizens at that point in time were like, okay, the government must know best. What's different about this fourth turning is ain't nobody trusts shit. Nobody trusts nothing. And what you need to understand is that we are in the Civil War. It's literally the people versus the powerful. When you're on a Facebook group and you're liking and commenting and you got your right-wing shit, watch your ass, because that's about to become extremely illegal very, very freaking quick. All right. And you're going to see this Patriot Act 2, which is the left rooting in their power. They're expanding their base. They're bringing in their Muslims. I got no problem with any of these people bringing their Muslims, bringing in their gays. They're going to have a problem later because they don't like each other. But nonetheless, they're bringing in their base, right? They're giving out free money. They're expanding their base. They're solidifying their power. They're trying to expand the Supreme Court. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. The left is bad news. They're running big tech. But you know what? I'd rather pledge allegiance to Google than pledge allegiance to the U.S. Congress. Because at least I have a choice in the private market to go, you know what? I'll go to Yahoo, or I'll go to DuckDuckGo, or I just won't use the product, or I, as an entrepreneur, can compete with them. I can say, screw this, I'm going to create something better, like a parlor. And then you find out that the tech system goes, whoa, and you have the government to kind of, even out the tech. But is the government going to go beat up on tech? No, because tech already won. Tech is bigger than the government. I mean, if I was Zuckerberg and you brought me in to Congress and you're like, oh, well, tell us about this Cambridge Analytics scandal, I would have just been like, number one, fuck you. Number two, somebody bring me a coffee. Number three, has anyone figured out that I'm the most powerful guy in the room, or are we still going to pretend like you guys have power? And then I'd have walked out. And then you could, show your ass and, send your SEAL teams to my headquarters and all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm a billionaire and I'm running Facebook. I can do anything I want. I can move the entire company offshore. I don't need you, right? And they know that, right? Twitter knows this. Square knows this. Google knows this. Apple knows this. They are running the game. And I'm okay with that because they're private companies and I do business with them voluntarily. And when I don't want to do business with them, I just look for an alternative. Well, what you're going to see with this Robinhood scandal thing is that Robinhood was backstopped by Citadel Capital, who Marvin Capital and Citadel, without going down the rabbit hole there, Marvin got in trouble. They had to have Citadel come in and bail their ass out. Well, who does all the trading for Robinhood? Citadel. So Citadel is on the other side of the trade. Robinhooders are on this side of the trade. And technically, Citadel kind of owns Robinhood. So what happens is they shut down trading for the retailers, and they allowed, the hedge funds to cover their shorts, make their losses before they went bankrupt, make their losses, and then go, okay, we're open to trading again. And that doesn't sit well with the little people. Well, what's about to happen is the little people are going, fuck this system. Why are we doing this? And the only reason you're doing this is because you're stuck in the fiat dollar bullshit system, which means the powerful have the power and the little people, they don't have the power. Look how much of a crappy system this is. I got a check today, right? Just got this check, went out today. It's a Sunday, went out, made some money, got a check. I got to go put this in the bank or mobile deposit it. And on Tuesday, I'll see my funds, and then I can move my funds from there, and et cetera, et cetera. Here's a solution to this garbage. It's crypto. It's literally crypto. Because what these kids are going to figure out, maybe this week, maybe next week, but it's certainly going to be quick. It's not going to be this going to take a decade thing anymore. What they're going to figure out is they can go and take their fiat dollars and trade them in and get crypto, mainly Ethereum or Bitcoin, because those are the big ones in the space. They can then take their Bitcoin and buy tokenized equities that are no longer trading on Robinhood or being, not allowed traded on Robinhood. Like I bought some shares this week just to partake in the event. And they're like, you can only buy 100 shares. I'm like, I want to buy 500 shares. They won't let me. I'm capped at 100 shares. I'm like, this is some bullshit, right? So have you hopped in yet? Ethereum? I have a little bit of Ethereum, but I'm Bitcoin, and I'm looking for the third world solution. I'm looking for and that's Cardano, in my opinion, or Digibyte. I think that those are the only two that really work. If it doesn't work in the third world, in countries like Venezuela, it's not the solution. Bitcoin's always going to be there, so I can dollar cost average and trust it, but it's not the solution. But nonetheless, these kids are going to learn probably this week that, I should take my crap bullshit dollars that literally Nancy Pelosi is in charge of. I mean, the Federal Reserve, they're in charge of this garbage. It's lost its value every single day since the Federal Reserve has been created. They've literally lost 99.9% of their value from originally. $1 means $1 of silver. It's a measure of weight. Look up dollar. It's a unit of weight. It's like a pound, a kilo, a gram. A dollar is a unit of weight. It basically means an ounce. What's a quarter of an ounce? It's 25 cents of a dollar, right? Not anymore. None of that crap's made out of silver because they screwed the system so much that they've enriched the wealthy through this inflation, and they've impoverished the savers and the poor and just the middle class. I mean, they completely wiped it out by design because these guys are globalists. That's the whole freaking point, is that they're globalists. The one thing that they don't keep considered in their equations is the American is fucking crazy. I mean, these people came over on boats. They killed off all the Indians. Really, the U.S. government killed off all the Native Americans. They fought the British Empire. They won. They fought them again in 1812. They won. They fought themselves. They didn't really win there, but, they killed a lot of themselves off. Screw it. YOLO. And then they go to World War I, and they pretty much win. They go to World War II. They win, and they can't win anything since then because, we're on this, bullshit fiat paper system. We're not fighting wars anymore. We're fighting political issues. We're going for oil. We're going for interest. We're doing things that are in favor of the political elite, the political establishment that is in power. And there are a couple of crony capitalists. I don't even like using the word capitalist for them because capitalism is free markets all the time, with no stops, no switches in the stock market where if the stock's going down or up, we flip it off or on. It's just free. And so these kids are about to learn, trade your dollars in, get your crypto. Once you got your crypto, you buy tokenized equities on decentralized exchanges. And the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, who did nothing in 2008, is not even going to catch the play. I mean, they're literally going to go get a cup of coffee and be like, oh, what happened? Where'd everybody go? Where'd everybody go? They're out. The decentralized world is about to blow up. And people have no idea because it's like Parler. What are you going to do about Parler? Amazon just shut down their servers. Oh, well, too bad for you. New solution, decentralized servers, where you have a server, I have a server, and we host it. And we get paid in Filecoin, and we can convert that to Bitcoin. And we're completely out of the system. And now the IRS comes in. Well, we got to get our piece. You guys haven't done a good job with it so far. I'm not giving you anything. You haven't done a good job. You guys really suck. You guys print more money than you tax. And you continue to grow and create these government jobs, to which I say, if you're a government federal employee, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, a good, sincere, fuck you, you piece of scum. Because you're total scum. If you can't make it in the private sector, you suck. I understand there's some state and local government needs. There's some permit guys, some fire departments that are public or owned by public municipalities. The best ones are private. There are private fire departments. There are private police and security. I'm for the private sector, and I am for the individual making up their mind and not stealing their money through taxes, but allowing them to go where they want with their money, allowing that to happen. And with crypto, I can go anywhere I want with my money in the next 5 minutes. I can move my money anywhere I want. I can deposit it with anyone I want. With fiat, I got to wait for it to clear. I'm going to wait for it to clear on Tuesday. Then I got to move it. Then heaven forbid, the SEC calls my bank and say, hey, Trav said something on Sunday and we don't like what he said. Shut his shit down. And to which I'm like, whatever. I got silver. I have crypto. Fuck you guys. I'm out. I don't need you. Right? I'm not even hooked up to your water. Like last thing I got to do is my solar panels. I'm off. I'm like out. I'm out. Like I can go do my thing and I can go buy whatever the heck I want. I see that $1,000 silver question and I hate it. Because, the cat's out of the bag. I've been accumulating silver now for a few years. $17, $25, $32. I don't care. I just keep buying it. They mine 1 to 8 out of the ground, gold to silver. Gold is trading at like $2,000 for give or take. It's like $1,850, but by the time you pay a premium to the coin dealer, it's $2,000 for a piece of gold. They mine 1 to 8 out of the ground. They're trading at like 1 to 75 because of the paper markets, because of the distortion, because there is a short squeeze on silver. By JP Morgan and several other banks that occasionally get their hands slapped, but other than that, screw it, let them do whatever they want. They wrecked the global economy in 2008, and nothing happened to them. No one went to jail. And so we are at this fourth turning event. 2008, we were beginning it. I would say it probably started right there at the financial crisis. But the solutions that came out of that, 2009, Bitcoin, right? 2021, they start printing trillions of dollars, Bitcoin going through the roof. It's going to keep going through the roof. It might dip. I hope to God I hope it dips, God. I want to see Bitcoin at $1,000. I want everyone to call me and be like, Trev, you're an idiot. And be like, okay, I'm just buying. Like, yep, I'm an idiot because I know where it's going. Bitcoin roll, it's millions or zero. It's going to rip because it's going to become the people's money. And that's what's going to happen. And governments that want to grow their countries of interest are going to work with it. They're going to say, you know what, we're going to put some Bitcoin in our treasury reserve assets so people in Venezuela trust the currency again. Because I'm not buying any Venezuelan dollars unless you backing that shit with like silver, gold, or Bitcoin. I'm not touching it, right? And neither are other people. And so, gold, if you were to look at the price of gold and look at what the government spending is and look at the balance, the debt on the balance sheet, the Federal Reserve, they'll reprice it like they did in the 30s. And when they reprice it or they allow it to go to its natural price because, you guys are starting to see the manipulation of this bullshit, what you're about to find out is that gold is easily worth 10, 12,000 an ounce. Easily. I would say 15 an ounce. And I think you'll see that before 25. But nonetheless, then silver at a 1 to 8 ratio, oh shit, you're over $1,000 an ounce and it's $30 right now. And so the question to that is, silver's going to rip. It's going to freaking rip. It's also outside the system. And if you're going to build Tesla trucks and run supercomputers, it's the best conductor of electricity on the planet. And so the more solar panels you build, the more automated driving vehicles you drive, those computer chips are hooked up to each other by silver. It can't be anything slower. It's got to be fast. I don't know how many ounces goes into a Tesla truck or something like that, but I imagine it's a few. And so there's these short there's these short squeezes on the product. I don't want to see people talking about it because I want to continue to accumulate it. I know where it's going. I know what the real value of it is, but if it's going to be trading for $30, great. Let's shut up about that and let's continue to buy some. I see a couple guys out there, Mike Maloney, Travis, the economic ninja. A couple guys are like, yo, should we short squeeze silver? Yo, shut up and keep accumulating. I don't need the price of silver to go up right now. I need the price of silver to stay right where it is. Why I accumulate. I know it'll be $1,000 an ounce. I get that. I just want to have a couple 100,000 ounces when it goes to $100,000 or $1,000 an ounce and be like, oh, well, there you go. Great. So I'm going to hit a couple questions and jump off here. JP Morgan's is an alert on their website. JP Bullion. Silver's tough to find right now. And it was tough to find after the inauguration from Biden there. It's going to be tough to find. But it'll dip. Because what's going to happen, we'll just wrap with this, is what's going to happen is Robin Hooders are going to break these hedge funds. It's going to happen. And the Congress won't change the rules because the rules work for Congress. I mean, you guys remember when Congress sold off their stocks and then they announced the lockdowns? You guys remember that? Nobody cares. Nobody gave a rat. But what's going to occur there is these Robinhooders are going to go take my fake dollars, get me into crypto. Now that I got my crypto 24/7, markets closed, no big deal. Oh, okay, great. I can go on this decentralized exchange. I can buy a tokenized equity. Great, perfect. GameStop, done. Trade done. No need for Robinhood. No way that the hedge funds can front run them. You got to think about it. All those orders coming through Robinhood. They're getting Citadel Capital is getting the orders. They're shorting the stock on the other side, and they're going, okay, we'll take care of this order first, and then we'll. Okay. Oh, wow. There's 5,000 orders for this one. Okay. They have insider information. And does Congress do anything about it? No. All Congress wants to do is grow in their power, right? You have a bunch of people who can't do anything else for a living. They can't do anything else for a living. They are government people. Like if you took them out of government and you like were like, hey, you guys can't be thugs. You can't steal from everyone anymore. They would be homeless in like 1 week. Because they have no skills. Like you look at like the Comos, like the Como brothers. The young kid on CNN, he can talk. Governor Como, all he can do is mass kill people. That's all he can do. He's got no skills. That's all he can do. By the way, Kamala Harris's husband got $200 million off of Governor Como. You guys should look into that. His law firm got $200 million for a little cosmetics company in upstate New York that was going to bring 1,000 jobs to the region, and they gave them a $200 million grant. That's not a loan. That means taxpayers of New York gave money to Kamala Harris's law firm, her husband or whatever's law firm, for free. I don't know if you guys got any of that money, but it's not there. So what's going to happen is the small dude is now looking at this going, okay, I'm getting out of the system because this system's rigged. And what's going to occur is you're going to have decentralized everything. Even YouTube is done. Like the days of YouTube are coming to a close because we're going to have something. Somebody's going to figure out privately hosting on decentralized servers. And we're going to get paid. I'm going to get paid to run servers and miners, if you will, here at my house. And I'm going to hook them to the internet like everyone else is going to be around the world. And we're going to host the information of Google on our own individual little servers. And they're going to be all over the little world. And there's not going to be a need for the Googles of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Robinhoods of the world, JP Morgan. There's no need for it. Because if you got Bitcoin or you got Digibyte, you got any of these different, we can transact back and forth. We don't need the big banks. Phone to phone. We don't need them. Right. So you have all these special interests, and these special interests will then they have to play their last card. Their last card is violence. Let me tell you that 100%. You can look at any government in the history of the world. Their last card is violence. It will start with the Patriot Act 2, and they'll go, oh, well, these guys with the Confederate flag over there, these rednecks, these white supremacists. Let's lock them up, folks. Let's put them up in jail, right? But at some point in time, they're going to hit that final straw. It'll be after a stock market crash. It'll be when the currency's hyperinflating. It'll be when the little dude wakes up and goes, dude, these guys need to get the hell out of our society. We need to get this cancer out of our society. This is what I'll leave you guys with. Watch this. The power will go out in this country at some point this decade. I promise you. Not like a hurricane, like it's going out for 3 days. The power will go out. And what I mean by that is the grid will go away. There won't be a grid in North America, because when the little guy goes, we need to get these people out. Those people will be so up in with AI tracking your phone. You guys are walking around with TikTok or Instagram on your phone. It's straight spyware, man. You guys are just walking around with spyware. The only way to get them out is to literally cut the power, cut the internet, and do guerrilla it out. And it's going to happen. Like it's going to straight up happen because they can control the people so long until the power goes out. And at which point the power goes out, it's all about your community. It's about your friends and family. It's about your self-reliance. It's about your adaptability. And it's going to get gnarly. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So I would be preparing for that, because at the end game, when you're like, oh, yeah, the FBI came and took my buddy away. He posted something on Facebook. Oh, this and that. And you guys are tired of that shit. The answer is going to be take out the power grid. Everybody. And let's go. Every van, everything that's got a government plate on it, everyone who took a government paycheck straight to the top, got to go. And that's going to happen. Or they may adjust and they may go, you know what? You're right. Power to the people. We're going to shrink the size of government. We're going to get on a budget balance, a balanced budget. We're not going to print dollars out of thin air anymore. We're not going to go police the world. Tell me which one you think is more likely. But nonetheless, I will link for replay viewers in the bottom. Join the email list, because at some point in time, this channel is going to get blocked, because I just say what I say. And it is what it is. And until then, until I see you next time, watch what's happening with decentralized everything. because it's going to be quick. It's going to go like this. It's not going to be like Bitcoin's a bubble. Not going to be like that anymore. It's going to be like, let's get out of the system because the system's rigged. Peace.